Hello, everyone. Okay, never know if my Spotify is on because I never pause it. I just turn off the volume, and then I'm like, I don't know. And then for some reason, I'm always worried about it, even though I guess you don't need your volume on for a live stream, but whatever. Anyway, cool. I'm going to share this out into my group. And then we're going to get started. I'm really excited because the topic today is really, really good. We're actually diving into more, let me fix my necklace, more of my story. And so what the journey for me going from like 2K months, which I was at for like a year, into 8K months, and then into 20K months. So what I'm going to actually do is like break down what 2K months look like, right? What 8K months look like, and then what 20K months look like. So what each of those shifts really look like. So what you can do is take away from this video the shifts and what really caused those changes to happen. And so what was holding me back, and then what propelled me forward, right? So let's share this. Oh, if my page will load. I don't know if it wants to load. Oh, here we go. All right. If you're here, say hi, of course. And if you are on the replay, say hi. If you're live, say hi. Okay, if you're not in my group, it's Ambitious Badass Entrepreneurs. So definitely join it. Perfect. Because sometimes we do some live streams in there that don't get put on the page. Okay. Yay. All right, let me put my notes up here. So, title of the live stream, how I got unstuck from 2K months that were my reality for a year, and how this turned into consistent 20K cash months being normal, and even having 40K, 50K, 80K months when I wanted and when I was launching my group programs and things like that, right? So, this is going to be really good. What you're going to get from the live stream is my story, is like I was just saying, being able to take away what really caused these shifts and what was holding me back in the first place. So what you're really going to get is the shifts that you need to make if you really want to get to this point and have 5-figure months consistently. The exact steps that I took to see the biggest up levels that I've had in my business. And then what I see all of my clients have in common that unlocks the success for them too, right? Because it's interesting to hear one person's story. It's interesting to hear one person's journey, but that's really, as much as I love to share my story and I love to motivate with it, that's not what I'm all about. I'm not all about like there being some A to B path that works for everybody. But what is interesting is when we can find some of these really like obvious, very strong commonalities between all of us that are holding all of us back, right? That most of us have going on. Who's here? Say hello in the chat so we can chat some, because I hope that you guys will ask some questions and kind of let me know what's going through your mind as we go through this. So, okay, it feels like it's been forever since I've done a live stream where I really have dove into my story, so I'm excited. So basically, to kind of tell you where I was at, I ended up, this is how I got into the online world, right? And if you know me and you have heard me talk about this, which I don't talk about nearly enough, I really do think that we are all, every one of us that's doing this, we're here for a reason. You know what I mean? Like we're really meant to be doing this. And there's so much, it's driving me crazy. You know, and I just got this really, really terrible comment yesterday that was just really terrible to read. But that goes into this. But there's so much skepticism in the online world. There's so much like, you know, is this even legit? Blah, blah, blah. There's so much skepticism and questioning and all of that. And I think some of us aren't doing what we're really meant to be doing. And what we're going to talk about a lot is going to go into that. Some of us are not really showing up as our true selves. But I think that we're all meant to be here. You know what I mean? Because the way I like to put it is, I just came across a video in my sidebar that talked about making money online, right? And at the time, I knew nobody who was doing that. Like nobody in my family, nobody in my friends, nobody like in my college, nobody like I didn't know anybody that was making money online, especially, I mean, at all, but especially like this, doing services and coaching and things like that, right? I knew nobody. And so for me, the fact that that video popped up and I hadn't searched for it, like, because let's face it, if you're anything like me, you've probably done a search when you were a kid of like, especially if you're like of my time and this was a thing. But like I used to Google search when I was a kid, like how to make money as a 13-year-old, how to make money over the summer, like how to make money online. But I didn't do that like at this point in my life, but this still popped up. And so it was really weird. I watched the video and it told me about a site called Upwork, which is a site where you can provide services for any type of business, really. But anyway, I signed up, right? I had a client that day scheduling pre-written tweets into a program called Hootsuite, which probably many of you have heard of. It's kind of, I feel like not many people use that anymore, but it used to be super popular. I had never heard of it at the time because I had never heard of any of this at the time. But my thought process was, I can do that. I can write social media. Like, I'm young. That's easy. I can totally pull that off. And so I signed up. I got my first client. I was charging under minimum wage for that client, not really realizing that like taxes would come out of this and like I'd have to report it to the government. And, like I was really screwing myself over big time doing that, but I did. And very, very quickly, I hit $2,000 months. Like I don't remember this far back, to be honest. I wasn't really tracking it. I wasn't teaching this, so it wasn't so important to really track it. But I think I hit 2K months in a month or two. And so that was awesome, right? It was really, really cool. But the problem was I was stuck there for a year. And the problem was in that year, a lot of things changed. And so like, I think, you know, sometimes in our lives, maybe a 2K month is like, we can survive off of that and we can be fine. But there's other points in our life where like, we want a lot more, but we also, a lot of us can't even survive off of that. So I was stuck there, right? So this is what was going on. 2K months for a year. What was going on was I had very low self-worth. So I was okay with charging whatever the client wanted me to charge. I was discounting myself all the time. I could barely get myself over that $10 or $15 an hour mark, which let me just tell you, if you are doing that as a business, you are really, really, really fucking yourself. I would say screwing yourself over, but I think it's a little bit more serious than that. You cannot do that. You just can't. No, it doesn't work. It does not work as a business. So I had really, really low self-worth. I was charging way too low. I was really in this like whole people pleaser stage. So it was like, this is the thing. I was trying to please my clients up and down. So I was like over delivering. I wasn't even charging for all the hours I was working. So I would take like a few hours off when I would invoice a client, or like I would lie about how much I was working on a project and like cut it down a few hours to make myself seem like I was faster, better at what I was doing. And, you know, so I was really making less than $10 to $15 an hour when you think of it that way, right? So self-worth was definitely low. And another thing that goes into that was I was looking at my clients as, thank you. I was looking at my clients as like opportunity, right? And this is okay because I was a lot younger then, but like those are just excuses, right? Like I was providing a service, I was running a business, and whether you are a business charging $10 an hour or you're a 7-figure business, like you have business expenses, you have life expenses, you're paying taxes, like you're both a business. So something is not adding up there, right? But all the excuses were like, well, I'm young, well, I don't even really have that much experience. Well, this is a great opportunity. This is going to look so good for me. And, so I was considering myself the lucky one in the relationship, right? Here's the thing. I do what I do now because I was really good at what I was doing then, you know? Like, I was really good at marketing. I was supposed to be doing that. Like, I was supposed to be helping people with their business. Just like what I was saying in this beginning of this live stream, like, we are all meant to be doing what we're doing right now, whether it's a learning lesson or we're on our way or whatever, but we have to fully step into the real purpose that we're here, which is probably somewhat of what you're doing right now, but not fully. We'll talk about that more in a minute. But that's what 2K months we're looking at like, right? Very, very low, to tie it up, low self-worth, undercharging, not even charging all the hours I was working, trying to please my clients, being a people pleaser. And then looking at my clients like I was the lucky one and like they were giving me this huge opportunity that was going to like catapult me into my success in the future, right? Amen. Hey, Lisa. So this is what happened. That was going on for about a year. To be honest, now that I'm thinking back, I think this was going on for like a year and a half. Yeah, this was going on for like a year and a half, to be really honest with you guys. That's crazy. I never realized that. Okay, I always say a year, but it's actually longer than that. So a year and a half, this happened. 2K months. And towards the end of that year and a half, I had a 3K month. I actually did have a 4K month, but I was working myself like to the bone, if that's what they call it, like way, way, way overworking. I had started charging a little bit more, which was cool, but I was charging like $20 an hour, maybe $30 an hour for some of the clients. But I was still looking at myself like, oh my God, I'm so lucky this client's willing to pay me $30. Oh my gosh, I'm so lucky this client's willing to give me more work or give me a better position. Like it was always, 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 always low worthiness going on. So then I did, after that year and a half, I went to consistent $8,000 months, right? Sometimes like $7,900, sometimes about $9,000, but it averaged out to be about $8K a month for a while. And we'll talk more about how I got stuck there. But that was a big jump, right? 2 to 8K. So many of you guys watching this live, maybe even on the replay, are actually wanting those exact numbers or very, very, very similar. So that was awesome. And so I want to talk about what that took and what happened. First thing that happened was I did hire a coach because why did I hire a coach then? Because I felt like she obviously knew something I didn't know, right? Like, and at that point, I was still looking for secrets. I was still looking for golden answers. And I hired this coach because she was doing it. I wasn't. She obviously was doing something different, knew something I didn't. Something was going on. And I wanted to get where she was at, which was she was always talking about 5K months. So I didn't even want to get to 8K, but I never even had a 5K month. I went straight to 6K and then 8K. So what happened? I hired that coach. And by hiring that coach, I made the decision that I was going to up-level my income, right? So I'll be honest, that whole year and a half, I was, I'm so excited to talk about this more at the end, but I think I'll mention it a little bit right now. When I was at that 2K months for about a year and a half, I wanted 3 or 4K. I wanted to push myself. You guys know me. Like I was not playing small. I was not trying to not make more money. Like that's not anything new. But the thing was, I did not want 3 or 4K months. I didn't even want 5K months. I wanted so much more than that. And we're going to talk more about underplaying or I don't know how to say this, but like not undervaluing, like discounting your real desires. So not even giving yourself the room to think about what you really want, but just picking it. So this coach had 5K months. 5K months sounded a whole lot better than what I was doing. And so I decided to work on that. But I didn't even really want 5K months. I wanted more than that. But I had never, ever, 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 ever had that thought cross my mind. I'm going to tell you exactly how this happened to one of my clients and how that catapulted her into 20K months and not very long at all, a couple of months. So we're going to talk more about this, but that's really big. Really making the decision of what you really, really, truly want and actually getting real with yourself. Let yourself think about the big numbers. Let yourself think about the big goals and see if that's what you want or not, right? Okay, so I made the decision. I really, really worked on my worthiness. So I increased my prices. I created packages, and my coach was really pushing me to do that. I would have never thought I could increase my packages because I increased my rates to about $250 an hour once I hired that coach. And I would have never believed that I was worth that if I didn't have her on the outside seeing me for who I really was, telling me that that was possible. Because charging $250 an hour had never even crossed my mind. I didn't even know, I mean, I guess I did know people did that, but like, not me. Do you know what I mean? So like, it was really great to have her be able to push me into doing that. Same with creating packages and things like that. Hey, Genevieve, love you. Adeline says, I've been doing this lately and it's amazing how perceived potential of my ideas expands exponentially. Yes, you have to let yourself think bigger. So that was really, I mean, that sounds so simple, and I could tell you more of the strategies I did if you want to know. I started doing more video. I just started writing posts. I had a discovery call form. I started sending emails out about it. I just started offering it. It's really nothing, the strategy is really nothing mind-blowing. It was like, I just started offering the package. I just publicly made my prices higher, right? But it was awesome to get to 8K months, and I was definitely proud of myself. I think a lot of you can relate to this. Proud of yourself for where you're at, but also not happy where you're at. And maybe you are happy, but you definitely want more, right? You're definitely pushing yourself to get more, and you're stuck. That's how I was. So then I got stuck again at 8K months for 6 months. And I was fine there. I was grateful there. I was happy there. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that was the happiness. Like, I'm so grateful I have 8K months, but like, what was happening, some of you who might be at this point, 5K, 8K, maybe even 10K sales months, you feel like you're spending more than you're earning. You feel like you aren't really making much profit. You're kind of breaking even or not breaking even. Like, you're still like struggling, right? Because you probably hired a coach, or like, are spending all this money, or you're making 8K sales, but you're not really making 8K cash. Like, it's such like it's a very interesting place to be at that I was at. So I wasn't super happy there, but I was, right? So here's what was going on. Here's what 8K months really actually looked like. I had this package. It was 4 months for $3,000. I was signing one client into it per month. And then for a month, I didn't sign anybody in it. So I was still working with those freelance clients. I was actually discounting things. So I would take clients for like single sessions, like an intensive that like I didn't actually offer or want to offer, but I would like discount it and do it really cheap. Which is funny, right? You don't even want to do it, so you should charge more or not do it, but then you charge less. Like, that's what I was doing. I was discounting. I was working with clients I didn't want to work with, so people who didn't want to commit to the whole package, or freelance clients that I had committed to not working with anymore. I was like pushing so hard. So I was emailing my list 3 or 4 times a week, which I still kind of do now, but it's not pushing and like begging and like, do you know what I mean? Like, I was pushing so hard to sign that one single $3,000 client. And then I was still on top of all that pushing, I was still doing one-off sessions. I was doing tons of sales calls that were falling through, probably at least 15 to 20 sales calls a month. I was working with those freelance clients for 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, $50 an hour. My rates at that point still were from 10 to like 50 an hour. Do you see the thing? I wasn't consistent. Okay, we're going to talk about how I went into 20K months, but I wasn't empowered. I wasn't sticking to shit. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was charging all the things, doing all the things, like not doing what I wanted, not charging what I wanted, not talking to who I wanted, not saying what I wanted. And at 8K months, I'll tell you this, which is really funny. I got this photo shoot done where, and I've talked about this before, I got this photo shoot done. There's 2 funny parts to this. Was really excited for it. I was using my college photos, like my college graduate invitation photos, for my business up until this point, which was fine. But I got a photo shoot from a local college student. I paid her like $120. I think she charged me $100. I gave her a $20 tip. And I told her, like, okay, this is what I do. She didn't really understand what I did, but I said, this is what I do. I need to look older. I need to look more professional. I need to look like I have everything together, and I need to look like somebody that you can trust to like pay a lot of money. Like, that's literally what I told this girl. And so some of you have seen those photos, some of you haven't. And then what's really funny, I got those photos done. I wore clothes I would have never worn. I got my hair done how I would never wear it. I did all this stuff that I would have never. I wore clothes I didn't even like. Do you know what I mean? Like, I put it this way. I did rewear the dress I wore in those photos one time, and it was to a funeral. And that's it. And same with the shoes. So also, when I got the photos back, because I am just the Jill of all trades, I photoshopped the photos to make myself look thinner because I thought I looked fat in the photos. And you definitely don't want to look fat in your photos, right? Like, nobody's going to hire you. Like, that's what was going through my head, right? I'm kind of just kidding. But that's what happened. I honestly swear to you, I told that photographer the exact words I just told you guys. And I photoshopped just about every single one of those photos to, like, make myself look a little thinner. And I swear I've never done that again. But, like, can you see, like, oh, Mackie, I'm so glad that you're here. Can you see all that stuff that was going on that was, like, still, even though I had worked on the worthiness and I had stepped into somewhat of higher rates and, like, a bigger month, I had made a huge jump. I had 4 times my income, but I still had the worthiness issues. I still had the decision issues. I still had all that going on, right? And what was really going on, because now we're going to move into how I up-leveled into 20K months, which was my next level. I had like a 17K month, and then I went straight into 20. Like, there wasn't really much in between. So then I forgot what I just had something really good I wanted to say. Oh, one big thing that was keeping me from actual 5-figure months and 20K months was hiding. I was hiding behind Photoshop. I was hiding behind this persona that I had created of the Taylor Manning, the strategist that you would hire. I was hiding behind my passion. And this is another thing I didn't tell you guys. I was serving moms. My ideal client, this is what I told my coach at the time. And this is what I was posting in mom groups because I figured, I hadn't really helped people make money before. How many of you are going through that or have gone through that? I hadn't really helped people make money before. Like, I was good at marketing, right? But I hadn't really helped people make this huge ROI. I was just an assistant. So when I decided to be a coach, I was like, well, I can help those solopreneurs, those mompreneurs, because at the time, a lot of my freelance clients just happened to be moms for whatever reason. I was attracting that in, I'm sure. And I don't know. I just thought, like, a lot of my clients are moms. I like them. They're really nice. They're fun. They really like me. And I'll just be a coach for mompreneurs who need help with technology and, like, being more strategic and, like, understanding the online marketing world. I was basically acting like, don't hate me, moms, but I was basically acting like mompreneurs were, like, stupid or something and had no clue about technology. Like, that's not really what I thought, but that's kind of what I was doing. Now that I look back, I'm like, wow, Taylor, that was kind of screwed up. Of course, that's not true. But so I was hiding behind all that. Like, I was not this Taylor that you see at all, far from it. And I will tell you this too, I was not doing a good job of really hiding, because looking back at some of that content, like, I wasn't doing that great of a job, but I was trying to. So if you're hiding, if you're discounting yourself, if you have self-worth issues, if you have any of that going on, right, it's keeping you from the 20K month. It's probably also keeping you from the 10K month. You can up-level without working on this stuff. You can make more money and still have all of this shit going on and still be unhappy and still not be yourself, and basically might as well be working a 9-to-5, because if you can't be yourself, why would you even run a business? Running a business is not, when you're in that state, running a business is not fun. It's not easy. It's not enjoyable. It's not freedom. A 9-to-5 is more fun, enjoyable, and freedom than a business when you're in that state and hiding and stuff like that, right? In my opinion. So here's what happened when I hit 20K months. I hired another coach who pushed me even harder, who called me out like crazy and told me all the ways that I was hiding. And I had a biz bestie who really, really pushed me as well, that I'm so thankful for. And she basically called me out because we met in person. She's like, you are nothing like you are online. Like, I love you. I love you that I'm looking at more than I love you online. But, like, you're not the same person. And so what she helped me do, and what I did at that point, was really step into who I really was. And I went into my Facebook group. So you can grow a Facebook group, you can make more money, all that, while still, like, basically lying and having this fake persona up. And Mackie, what's so funny, if you're still on here, this is just about the time, and I think even Genevieve too, like, when we met. So, like, it's just crazy. I want to talk more about that since some of you guys are on here. So then I shared my story. I put my age out there, which I was so afraid. I thought I was the youngest person on the internet at that time for some reason. I put my story out there. I had so many posts that I would write that I would just, like, bawl my eyes out, be so afraid that people would never hire me, that I wouldn't be good enough, all of that, right? And what's so funny that I wanted to say to Mackie and Genevieve and anyone else who's here in that time, I had a lot of these women come into my business and my life that were my same age, that were just as badass as me, that were super ambitious, that were maybe struggling with the same age thing or maybe weren't, but like they understood me, and we got to work together in some way or another, and we got to be friends in some way or another. And so that was really interesting that all this stuff started like basically manifesting because I was stepping up and being myself, being my 110% Taylor, which I'm still working on. I'm probably at like 98%. I don't know. But I just knew I wanted to work with you, especially because you were 21. Yeah, it was really, really cool when this happened. So this empowerment. So there's a couple things that we're going to go over, but empowerment happened and clarity happened, right? So empowerment happened because I hired another coach, even though I had already spent over $10,000 on coaches and mentors. I had another coach. I started making faster decisions, replying to people faster, like sticking to the decisions I made. I started having stronger sales conversations where I would tell people like, here's what's really going on with you. Here's why we need to work together, even though they were afraid, didn't have the money. I started saying what I needed to say. I started having less fear of judgment, or to be honest with you, I didn't work on having less fear of being judged. I worked on just letting myself be judged. But then I'm sure some people judged me. Some of you are right now and whatever, right? But I had so much love on all those posts I was posting. So the fear of judgment started to drip away. I shared my story. I started being me. I actually stopped using those photos. Soon after, actually probably like 8 months after, I got another photo shoot that was a little bit better. But I started just using selfies and videos and like being me and showing, what me and my boyfriend were doing in my life and my family. And like, I started being Taylor Manning, not fake Taylor Manning that I made up, right? And I also had a huge thing of clarity. And it sounds like I had clarity before because, well, I didn't. I had the total wrong ideal client. I was selling the total wrong package. All of that was so wrong. I had clarity. And one big thing that can create clarity is speaking your goals and is testing your goals and thinking a little bit bigger and seeing how that feels. Or even though you think, oh my God, this package is amazing, you just got some inspiration, it's like thinking of other packages and seeing how they feel. I let myself feel all that. I let myself think about all that. So these are the things that changed. I'm going to recap the 4 big things because I just wanted to tell the story, but I'm going to give you the actual 4 things that you have to really embrace before you can step into this. But I want to read this comment from Bettina. Hopefully I said that right. I feel you. I had the same issues as well. Now that I'm turning 29, I'm more confident and it's fine. But just a couple of years ago, I felt like older people look down on me or think, what does this little girl know? Because most people even think I look a lot younger than I am. Yeah, I get that. I get people who think I'm younger. I get people that think I'm older. I still sometimes struggle with the age thing. In a lot of ways. And for me, it was really hard for me. And it doesn't have to be hard, and it probably shouldn't have been. But for me, it felt really hard because my boyfriend is also older than me. So I had a lot of criticism from like people that weren't happy with that. And then all these coaches that were successful that I looked up to and wanted to be like were older than me. And so I was seeing how all this criticism in my relationship, what if all that came into like my business, right? Like, why wouldn't it? It seems like it just would. It seemed like it made sense. Hey, Avni, I feel the same way. I feel so much more normaler with my message and language and stuff right now. It's so much easier and less exhausting than trying to be someone else. Exactly. It's so true. Okay, so here's the 4 things. Worthiness, right? Worthiness. These are going to sound like words that I don't use a lot, but this is the truth, right? Worthiness. You have to have worthiness. What does worthiness look like? It looks like saying what you want to, this goes into the second one too, but it looks like showing up as yourself, feeling worthy just as you are, even if you think you look fat in your photos. It looks like charging what you want to charge, even though some people aren't going to want to pay it. It's embracing who you really are, age, shape, color, any of that, any of the stuff in your head. There's so many things, right, that we think people are going to judge us for. People are going to judge you. People aren't all going to like you, but you have to feel worthy as who you are, right? Empowerment, which looks like being empowered, making empowered decisions. That could be hiring the coach. That could be posting a post that people aren't going to like. That could be making an empowered decision to speak the truth on a sales call, even though it might push someone too far. That looks like being empowered in what you're saying, doing the live stream. I do want to do this live stream, but part of me doesn't, because like, I'm like, oh, what are people going to think? This is different. I'm talking about something different. Is it even going to help with my goal of clients? And like all that happened before I did this live stream, right? But it's making that's going to always happen, I think. It might get better. I mean, it will always get a little bit better, but you're still always going to have to make the empowered decision, and you're always going to have the option to not make the empowered decision and do the unempowered thing. Fear, right? So the other thing is, like, I talked about getting rid of that fear of judgment, getting rid of the fear of what people are going to think. This goes into worthiness and empowerment too, but pretty much all the fear that we have in our business, so think about whatever fear you're having right now, it's very likely to do with what people think of you. If you're fearful that you're not going to hit your goal or not going to sign the clients, it's fearful that your clients aren't going to like, or potential clients won't like you. They're not going to hire you. If you're fearful of going into a new direction, it's fearful that people aren't going to like it. If you're fearful of putting that photo out because of how you look, it's fearful of people judging you. That's a big thing. You're not going to get rid of the fear, but you're going to go like to it. You're going to do what's fearful. The fourth thing is clarity. So testing your clarity, stretching your clarity. We all know what we want, and I can almost guarantee, because all my clients do this to me, whatever number they typically say first for their price for their package or their monthly goal, it's normally a lot smaller than what they really want. And they don't even know it most of the time. I didn't know it. So try that, stretch your goals. And the other big thing about clarity is speaking it. And this goes into empowerment. This goes into not being fearful. This goes into feeling like you're worthy. One big thing when I had 20K months, I didn't ever tell, this is just one example, I didn't ever tell Frankie that I wanted 8K months. I didn't ever tell him. I never really tell him that I was doing, we don't really talk, he doesn't pressure me to tell him anything. I don't have to tell him anything about what I make or what I do with my money or anything, right? But, and I like that, but when I wanted 20K months, I felt so crazy. And before I ever did it, before I was ever even close, I told him. And it was so out of nowhere for him, because like I hadn't even told him I wanted to make 8K months or 10K months. And I was like, do you know what I remember exactly where we were at in the car, where we were going. And I was like, do you know what I really want to do? And he was driving. He's like, what? And I was like, I want to make like a 20K month. And he thought I was kind of crazy and whatever, and he went along with it. And I was like, yeah, I want to make it in cash, and I want to do it like now. And then I remember telling him, like, I'm going to focus on that. And I don't know when it's going to happen, but like I am doing it. And I don't know what he thought. I know he thought I was a little crazy, at least a little. But I spoke it. So it's like telling people. It's the same thing. Sometimes I've held back. I just want to post on this yesterday if you guys want to see it. But I've held back what I want to do. I've not told people. And when you're not telling people, it's a shame thing. It's feeling shameful for what you want or whatever. So speak it. Shireen, yes, I know you talk a lot about decision making too. It's so important. You have to make decisions, and you need to be making the empowered decisions, and a lot of us aren't. Okay, so this is what my long-term goal is. This is why my long-term goal is a little secret in my pocket. You've got to take it out of your pocket, and you've got to like throw it at people. And yeah, I'm doing this movement. You've got to tell it to people. You don't have to. This is what empowerment looks like. It looks like not owing anybody anything, not having to tell anybody anything, not needing anyone's approval, but still speaking your truth and speaking what you want, because you know that it's happening and you know that you're worthy of it, even though you don't have any obligation to do that. That's exactly what it's like with my boyfriend and I. Like, I don't have to tell him that at all. And it is none of his business, right? Like, it can be that like empowered, like independent woman thing, but like also being empowered looks like saying it anyway, because you're empowered and you're worth it. And if people think you're crazy, they're the crazy one, you know? And people have told me when I've spoke my goals, I've literally been told to my face, like, Taylor, you're in la la land. This doesn't happen to people. It's definitely not going to happen to you. Get over yourself and come back to reality. Someone told me that to my face at this point in my business. But, and And I cried. It affected me, but I still went after the goal and I still kept saying it. And, you know, I think, I don't know for sure, I don't know really, but I feel like a lot of people who are millionaires knew that they were meant for that. They knew they were going to be a millionaire. Or like a lot of us who have six-figure businesses or we're getting there, like we knew, like I knew that I would be successful. I never had any doubt in my mind that I wouldn't be successful, you know, but even as a kid, I didn't really know what that meant. I didn't think I would be a millionaire or six-figure. I didn't even know what six figures was. I was a kid. But like, I think even when I was in elementary school, I knew I was going to be successful and smart and good. And do you know what I mean? Yeah. All the time people tell me I live on cloud nine. It's a good place to live, Mackie. I promise. People told me that forever. And some people probably still want to say it to me, but they just got used to it. And I'm going to be honest, I still hold back. And I went backwards a little bit more recently, but then I had to come out of that, right? Because I'm thinking bigger and it's scary. It's always scary. You know you're meant to be a millionaire. You know you're meant to have 20K a month or 10K a month or whatever it is, 5K a month, whatever. But you still don't know when it's going to happen or how, or if you're going to fail first, or if people are going to mock you, make fun of you, what they're going to think. So it's always going to be scary no matter how much confidence in it you have. There's still going to be that what if, that fear. You still might fail first. You still are going to fall on your face at least a few times. But I think once you accept that, like for me, it's like, yeah, I have this big goal. And if I fail right now, that's awesome. Because it's like, I know I'm on my way to it. If my income goes backwards for a month or two, that's fine. Because I know I'm on my way to the up level. There's nothing like, no, nothing stopping me. Might be a roadblock or two. Might need to like put a Band-Aid on my face or something, but we're good. Figuratively and literally, because I'm actually a klutz. A lot of you wouldn't know that because you only see me sitting in my chair live streaming. That's why you don't see me like out on adventures, like live streaming while I'm on walks with the dogs or something, because then you would definitely see me being a klutz. Awesome. Okay, so what else did I want to see? 4 things: worthiness, empowerment, fear, clarity. There are things that you're doing in these that you can't even see. Even if you're super aware, anytime I have a new coach, anytime I really get real with my coach, they see where I'm not in these 4 areas. And that's what's so great about having 1 or 2 or 3, right? So it's leaking into your copy. It's affecting the formats of your posts. It's affecting how you're showing up on live stream. It's holding you back on your sales calls. It's holding people back from hiring you. And not to mention all the ways that it's showing up in your relationship, with your family, in your personal life, all the way around, right? It is happening. It's happening to me. And, you know, I'm only speaking on it because I feel like I'm farther along and I've been working on it so much and it's been such a big thing for me. But it's happening to all of us, right? So I wanted to talk to you. I told you in the beginning I would talk to you about one of my clients, actually all my clients, but I wanted to talk specifically about one. So with my clients, this is what it looks like. Let me read Avni's comment though. I keep feeling like there's a long time between me asking for something and me actually getting there, and I get like so impatient. I totally love your perspective. I'm on my way there. Yeah, you got to get used to it. You can't force or push anything. You can manifest the shit out of it, but like you don't know when it's actually going to happen. You can make it go faster though by doing what you're doing, Avni. So you're good. My mindset shifted a month or so ago and the cash flow definitely doesn't reflect it yet. Yeah. Okay. But Edelyn, I feel like I want to say this to you. I don't know exactly what it is, but where is the mindset still stuck? And one thing that really clicked with me on the woo-woo side of things, people always talk about resistance. I never knew what that meant until someone said, if you don't have exactly what you're saying you want, you are in resistance. And so we're working our way out of resistance every day. And so there's probably some ways that you're showing up. Maybe your mindset has shifted. Maybe you've made the decision, but maybe there's some ways you're still showing up that don't reflect it, you know, that are causing the cash flow to not reflect it. Just think about that. Okay, so here's what it looks like with my clients. And some of them don't even realize that this is going on. And I think a lot of you don't realize what it actually looks like. So I want to talk about this, and then I'm actually going to talk about a client. So this is what it looks like. I've been talking about showing up as your 110% self, right? don't really know if any of us are really there, but I am seeing my client as that person that they don't even know what it looks like. They don't even know what their 110% them looks like, right? And then, and any of them can admit to this part, and they do know this, I don't teach them any A to B or A to Z or whatever it's called, proven strategies. Like, we do talk about launches I've had with other clients, but it's always piecing things together to work for them. And I think some of them get nervous with me sometimes, because sometimes it's like, well, what do you think here? Or sometimes it's like, this is how I feel right now. This is what I think it needs to be. When I say I think, I normally mean I know, because what this is coming from is knowledge, experience of working with literally over hundreds of clients in this way, and also intuition, because you do know the right way for you, right? But if it's not turned on, if you're not at your 110% self, it's not happening, obviously, right? So by doing this, I'm able to show them exactly what they should be selling, exactly what content needs to go out, what shifts need to be made, some of the stuff we're talking about today, all of that, which is leading them to the big sales, the big months, all of that, right? So if you haven't seen the video of Alex and Jenny, my clients, they are one business, two amazing women that run their business together. Go to my group and check the pinned post there, because we have this really cool video with a lot that you can learn and their story. But this is what it looked like for them. If you watched it, you know some of this. If you haven't, you don't. But they are kicking ass. They were just like pretty much all of you, where every month they were starting with $0 cash coming in their coaching business. Now they're starting the month with $20K reoccurring income. And the way they've set up their programs, this happens every month. It's not just right now because they've had one big launch. It's something that they can fill up and that reoccurs every single month. It's epic. So there's two big areas that we worked on out of these four, right? And we've actually worked on all of them. But the two that I want to talk to you about, just to show you what this actually looks like with clients, is clarity and empowerment. So what happened was, they were telling me how they wanted to have this 20K month. They wanted to be at 20K months, right? But it wasn't really happening, and it was feeling weird or whatever. But I knew, because I know, because they're my clients, they actually wanted to get to 50K. And it wasn't until I said that to them where I said, you do know that you really want 50K, right? And they, but then they got back to me and they're like, holy shit, we don't want 20K, because think about it, two CEOs, right? So they're splitting the money. They're like, we don't want 20K months. Like, that's 10K. And we've already been at, like, they just had this huge epiphany of like, they were working towards this goal that they didn't actually want. So of course it's not going to happen. That's like the most pure version of resistance there is. You're working towards something you don't even want. You're going to be sabotaging yourself. The universe is going to be sabotaging you, whatever you want to call it, right? I don't know exactly, but that's what was going on. But they never, ever, ever even considered a 50K month. They never even thought it beyond 20K, because they wouldn't allow themselves, and they couldn't see that clearly. They couldn't see that 110% version of them at 50K. And they are going to be at 50K very soon. They're already making over 20K on reoccurring, and more on top of that from things that happened during the month, right? So that's one side. The empowerment side of things for them, which you'll be able to hear a lot about in their interview, is saying what they need to say to people, like their clients, their customers. So especially like if I did a whole live stream on this too, people backing out, people not paying their invoices, all of that stuff that we hate happening, that was happening sometimes to them, of course. Their team not getting stuff done, or it was just getting aggravating. They didn't know if they were wasting money or not, or hard to let things go. It came down to them being empowered, saying what they needed to say to those people, being to the point, owning what they wanted to say, not questioning themselves, not worrying about, again, the fear of people judging them for what they said and how they said it and what they meant and blah, blah, blah. And it comes down to just handling the situations. So another way that empowerment came out in their business that I am like always pushing my clients towards is selling more and finding ways to sell that we also came up with that work for them. Because not every way, not every proven strategy is proven to work for you as who you are as a human. So that's what we did. They started selling more. They started telling people who weren't paying them, like, here's their policy. We've talked about policies in some of my last live streams. All of that. And so, of course, it led to more sales. It led from them going to 0 to 20K in basically 3.5 months of reoccurring income. So that's what it looks like with clients. It looks like uncovering that because you can't see it. You can see some of it, but you can't see all of it. And so you need somebody who can see you as the 110% you and who can actually tell you exactly what's really going on and push you to do it. Because you can't push the results to happen, but you can have someone push you to take those easy actions, right? So here's what I want to talk about really quick. Do we have any questions though or anything like that? Nothing else in the comments. Oh no, nothing else in the comments. Leave comments. Tell me what you're thinking. Tell me if this is what you needed today. But I want to talk to you about my program, Unlock. It's a one-on-one program, and it's epic. And I want to say this too. I've been shifting things that are going on in my business. So at this point and for the far future, all that's going on is this program and Six-Figure Ambition, which will be back in probably a few months. I don't know, a while. But I know some of you are waiting for other things to happen, and you know you need to work with me. You know you need to find these things out. We're going to recap what those things are, but you know you need me to uncover all this for you and that you want to work with me. Some of you don't, so that's okay. You guys could leave. Because that's all we're going to talk about right now. I don't mean like leave forever, because if you like my content, that's fine. But you're waiting for other things, and all, like that's not happening anymore, right? So I want to talk to you about this program. So again, what we're doing is looking at the 110% you that I can see clearly, turning it on so it looks like me guiding you on exactly what you're meant to be selling, to who, how, and also turning on those 4 pieces: the empowerment, the confidence, the clarity, the fear, the all of that, right? So here's the results that you're going to see. People asking you how to work, how they can work with you. People asking you how they can pay you, right? That turns into way less personal outreach for you, way less just kind of waiting around for someone to buy. You're also going to have way less objections. And also, because you have less objections, less sales calls. So what a lot of people aren't teaching, what a lot of people don't realize is you can make 5K, 10K, even more than that sales right over Messenger with the right people, right? And you're only going to be taking on ideal clients who are the perfect fit to work with you. You're going to have the fully booked program without feeling busy, stressed, not in love with your clients, still needing more money. Doing strategies that feel really easy for you, that take little to no time and create big results, unique to you, unique to what you're exactly supposed to be doing, because you're not supposed to be doing exactly what Amy Porterfield's doing or exactly what whoever you're watching is doing, exactly what I'm doing. It's different for everybody. And I've had literally over, I keep saying 100, but I have a feeling that it's over 200 clients, either through my very hands-on group programs, one-on-one, or as a freelancer. So I can actually very clearly see what you're supposed to be doing. So here's what we're going to cover in this program. All unique to you, what your rates should be for your program that are going to make it sell out faster than ever, what type of offers you're supposed to be selling. So if you're ever one of those, if you've ever been that person that, you know, 1 second you're aligned, 1 second you're not, it's not working because it's not aligned. Like, 1, I don't really believe in that, but 2, we'll find the aligned programs for you right off the get-go. What makes you the best coach out there so that your clients, your ideal clients are meant to work with you, actually have to hire you, and they do. That's what you want your marketing to get to, and that's what my clients do so well. People are literally saying, like, I had no other choice but to hire you. And it's not that they threaten them or anything bizarre like that. It's just their marketing is so clear. And they're doing what's aligned and what they're supposed to be doing. How to have a seamless sales process that works perfectly for you, your introverted or extrovertedness, your personality, all of that. The exact strategies that you need to be using to get your offers out there and sell them out. How to use your own intuition. So this is one thing that I haven't, or that my clients don't always really realize that they're doing, but it's figuring out how to know the difference between fear and your intuition so that you always know what you're supposed to be doing and you can make more of the decisions on your own. So I get that question all the time, like, what's the difference between fear? What's the difference between intuition? How do I know what I'm supposed to do? All of that. So we cover that So you can start answering a lot of this stuff. I'll be answering for you from the get-go yourself, and more. Do you like that amazing bullet point? More, of course, always. So with this program, you can 100%, and you will be creating 10K cash months easily and moving into consistent 20K months in just 4 months. If you're doing the work, if you're doing what's scary, if you're showing up, if you're not having excuses, all of that, because that's the only reason. And yeah, I have clients that don't get results, that didn't get results. Right now, not that don't get results, but that didn't get results. And it's really because they're just not doing the work, or they're doing the work half-assed, which most of us are. Most of us are, because we're letting all these things that we're talking about in the beginning get in the way. The 4 things: worthiness, empowerment, fear, clarity. We're letting all that, we're either not fully in it or we're letting it get in the way, and you're never going to get the results you're supposed to be getting if you're doing that, and you're not ever really going to be able to see exactly what's going on without somebody on the outside that gets it and can actually tell you. And that's not trying to teach you some silly pathway that they took that you can copy. And one big thing that a lot of people won't talk about is when you're doing that, you feel like a liar. So of course you're not getting clients. Of course you're not hitting your goals. Of course none of that's happening, because you're following someone's exact pathway, and you feel like a fraud. You feel like a liar, because that's kind of what's happening with a lot of these relationships. So anyway, go to the link, book the call, stop waiting. You know what you want to do, you know what you don't want to do. So if this is for you, sign up. There's 2 spots right now until some stuff gets changed around. So right now is the best time to join. And it's really the best time to join because it's the best time to join for you, because you guys know what that means, right? It means that you're holding yourself back, which is what we're talking about. Okay, so book the call. Let me know if you have any questions on this topic, or any questions about the call or the program or anything like that, okay? Bye, everybody.